You've probably been told your whole life to just be more confident, right? Well, what if that's literally the worst advice you could possibly get? Today, we are going to completely dismantle one of the biggest myths about how our minds actually work. And this quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of the problem. We treat confidence like it's some magical trait. You're either born with it or you're not. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? A complete lie we've been telling ourselves. And yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If confidence isn't some feeling we have to just summon out of thin air, then what on earth is it? Well, the answer, it turns out, is hiding in the one thing your brain was actually built to do.
Okay, let's really get into this. We have this idea that our brain is all about thinking and feeling, but a lot of neuroscientists now see it differently. They see it as a prediction engine. Its main job isn't to react to the world, it's to guess what's going to happen next.
And there's a name for this idea. It's called predictive coding. Basically, your brain is running a full-on simulation of reality, 24/7, and it's making non-stop predictions. This coffee's going to be hot. This floor is going to be solid. This person is probably going to smile back at me. It is a constant, endless stream of forecasting. And this whole thing works in a really simple 4-step loop. First, your brain makes a guess. Second, your senses, your eyes, your ears, report back on what's actually happening. Third, your brain compares the guess to the reality. And fourth, and this is the most important part, any difference between what it expected and what it got creates something called a prediction error. And that error signal is exactly how your brain learns and gets smarter for next time.
Hey, quick pause. If this video is helping you understand your mind a little better, that's what this channel is built for. We explore the psychology behind thoughts and behaviors most people never question. If that interests you, subscribe and check out another video. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you. Now back to the video.
All right, so let's take this idea of a prediction engine and see how it works out in the wild, especially when we're around other people. Your brain isn't just predicting simple things. It's constantly, and I mean constantly, calculating social risk. It's running a super simple program. Should I approach this or should I avoid it? And at its most basic level, the system is just a switch with 2 settings. When it sees something good, a friendly smile, a welcoming gesture, an automatic approach tendency gets triggered. But when it sees something negative, an angry face, a threatening posture, the avoidance tendency kicks in. This is an ancient survival mechanism hardwired into us. And this, right here, is where we completely redefine confidence. It's not a feeling. It's the output of a calculation. It's your brain's prediction of low risk. When your brain's forecast says, hey, your actions probably won't lead to you getting embarrassed or hurt, that is the feeling we label as confidence. And this diagram here shows us the actual hardware running that risk calculation. Think of it like this. You've got 2 main players. There's a primal threat detector, called the amygdala, that's always scanning for danger. And then you have the control tower, the anterior prefrontal cortex, or APFC. That's the part that can step in and override those initial alarms. Let's break that down a little more. The amygdala is your internal alarm system. It sees a threat, whether it's real or just in your head, and it screams, danger, get out of here. But what if you have to do that scary thing, like talk to your angry boss? That's when the AFPC, your control tower, comes online. It literally puts the brakes on the amygdala, giving you the space to act against that first, raw, emotional impulse. So if we have this amazing, sophisticated system in our heads, why does it feel so broken so much of the time? Why do we feel so uncertain, even when we logically know we can do something? Well, this brings us to what we can call the confidence gap. And to get our heads around this, we're going to look at a really fascinating parallel from a totally different world, artificial intelligence. It turns out that the problems AIs are having can tell us a whole lot about the weird quirks of our own brains. So, get this. Research shows that modern AIs, as smart as they are absolutely terrible at estimating how certain they are about something. They are often wildly overconfident, even when they are dead wrong. Does that sound familiar at all? In fact, when you compare an AI's own reported confidence level to a human's gut feeling about the same problem, the connection is incredibly weak. We're talking a correlation of like 0.24. For perspective, a perfect match would be 1.0. This tells us that accurately gauging your own uncertainty is a profoundly hard problem to solve for machines, and as we're about to see, for us. So here's the big idea. What if that feeling we call confidence is just our brain's best guess about the level of risk? And what if, just like that AI, our brain's guess is often poorly calibrated? This explains so much. That feeling of being an imposter, that's not a character flaw. It's a computational feature of a brain that's struggling with a really, really hard math problem. And that leads us to the most important part of all of this. If our feeling of confidence is just a flawed prediction, how do we fix it? The answer is not to try and feel more confident. The answer is to become an architect of your environment. So let's look at the myth versus the reality. The myth tells us to fake it till you make it, to focus on your internal feelings. All that does is make you feel like a fraud. The reality? What actually works is focusing outward. It's about building systems and structures around you that make things predictable. When the outcome is predictable, your brain's risk calculation goes down. It's that simple. So how do we actually do that? Here's a 4-step blueprint. First, you take that big scary thing and you break it down into tiny, predictable steps. Second, you build in ways to get quick, unemotional feedback. No drama, just data. Third, you design it so that if you fail, it's just a little pinprick, not a crushing avalanche. And finally, you just repeat it. You're not faking anything, you are systematically giving your brain's prediction engine the evidence it needs to believe the risk is genuinely low. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. Real, lasting confidence is not the presence of some positive, fuzzy feeling. It is the absence of a negative prediction. It's what's left over when your brain, based on actual evidence from a well-designed system, finally stops guessing that you're about to be crushed. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Stop asking, how can I be more confident? Instead, start asking yourself, how can I re-architect the risks in my life? Because the answer to that question, that's where you'll find real confidence.